like boxing, like like when Mickey Ward and Gotti, they'd have these wars, right? But at least those guys had some wins on their record. Imagine a guy that takes a pummeling like that, but has never landed a punch and never won a fight. That's Brent. And so there's something about his resilience that I actually admire, if I'm being honest.
No, but there was Astro. Which one would you think is more resilient, Astro or Brent?
Well, Brent's got just a lot longer tenure here. So, Brent's been doing this for years.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of new to this. But
I'll probably have a response for it, but I'll let you get your licks in. Like, the one thing that I do allow is for people to get their punches.
Do you have a question?
Go for it.
This is in regards to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism? CIA and others in the U.S. government faked terrorism?
I don't think they faked terrorism, but I think it's one of those things similar to having awareness of the Pearl Harbor.
Well, I'm only asking because our glorious president, Donald Trump, has clearly identified that fake news is real, and that with the NDAA being at $1 trillion a year, is $1 trillion a year still needed to fight the war on terror?
As far as the expenditures that we have, if we were legitimately looking for, in fact, I would trade all the Social Security dollars. I would trade all of the Medicare dollars. I would trade a lot of dollars tracking a terrorist cell, and then we're listening because we're looking at why not just we spot them, we take them out. I think we need a much more
security of this country. Would you imagine that $300 billion worth of a jobs program, as they usually call it in a lot of federal agencies, when you ask questions, they say, oh, that's a jobs program. So I'm just wondering, do you think that possibly at $1 trillion a year, we can't identify $300 billion worth of a jobs program that is used to defend the security and freedom of this country?
Let me answer that for a second. Do you know, when I found out that the Iranian nuclear strike was in the process for over 20 years, they were devising how they were going to do something that couldn't be done. Do you know how much money that costs? And do you know how you have to set aside money to do it? And that's just one project. Who knows what they have going? That costs money. You could throw around, you could say $200 billion to go for jobs. You could say that. But this is an extraordinary. They spent 20 years, I don't know how many billions, to knock out Iranians' nuclear weapons. I'm from the old accounting school. Show me the income, show me the expenses, show me. You just can't throw out a $200 billion job program. And who's going to be against a $200 billion job program? But if that $200 billion job program costs,
Reminds me of, who is that actor? Because I can't figure it out.
Christopher Walken.
Not at all. Jules, please.
Well, I have a New York guy. When I went overseas, I couldn't take a car. So I don't know what your question is.
I'm just making a joke about determining whether it's more affordable to fly by car or by plane, because they make it so complicated as an employee at the IRS.
But you can't. You don't know you're talking about the military. You don't know what is being spent. Were you surprised to hear the 20 years in the making? Was that Iranian nuclear bomb program? I was surprised to, and people looked it over and said, what the hell, what the hell is that? Can I tell you a funny story about that?
Real quick. I got it real quick. No, Alan Arkin. A lot of other people don't know this. Alan Arkin. Am I right?
I don't know. He had a lot of different voices. Alan Arkin. I'm Gary Glenross. Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Maybe I sound like him. I'm not him. My throat's a little raspy. But here's a funny story on travel vouchers. They were very strict on travel vouchers. So look at this. Look at this travel voucher. I can't approve of this. For example, you have a hat. What's this? You put a hat? You bought a hat. So he said, yeah, I was walking in the streets in London. There was a heavy wind, blew my hat. It went under a bus and destroyed the hat. So he goes, I'm not accepting this travel voucher. Do it over. I will not accept it. So he does it over, gives him the travel voucher. It's the same exact amount, but no hat. So the manager goes, how could it be the same amount? Where's the hat? He goes, you find it. Sure, we thought that was pretty
Well, I mean, do you have any criticism of the IRS, any whistleblower statements about egregious spending or activity against citizens of this country?
Nobody was out to get citizens. Look, no one was out to get citizens. As a matter of fact, the first year or so, I was in office audit where you get people making $7,000 back of change. As I went up the line, and for most of my career, I was international examiner in the financial service area where we're not out to, the IRS wasn't out to get the little person. The IRS was to make sure that the laws that the rich people made was followed, and usually it wasn't.
Okay, so I want to jump in real quick. The reason you were asked that was so let's get back to the title of the room. How can we end terrorism? Can we end terrorism?
Well, you're talking about the military.
Fucking solve it. I have some ideas. Hold on. If I share my thought, you guys will think I'm crazy. I might even get clipped. So I want to hear your thoughts. Crazy. I might even get clipped. So I want to hear your thoughts because I don't want to get clipped. Okay, you're in the queue. You're right behind the next person that might want to speak. Okay, let's go.
That's number one. You can't. Terrorism is something they want you to spend a lot of money to fight them. It's like whack-a-mole.
Ready? We give, instead of the $1 trillion that we spend half that giving it to Israel, okay? And again, you know how I feel about foreign aid, so bear with me on this thought. We give the money to Israel. We tell them to gather all the intel with Iran. You're going to go ahead and defeat the IRGC, and once the victory is completed, you will have U.S. citizenship. What do you guys think?
No good.
Man, you hate Mexicans that much?
Wait, who gets the citizenship?
We send them over to Iran, and Israel will do all the intelligence gathering, the war planning, and then the troops on the ground would be U.S. citizens that'll go and fight the war. They'll be from places like Panama and Nicaragua and Mexico and places.
Our big problem is fighting terrorism. Number one, isn't cheap. And number two, maybe even more important, it is not so constitutional, if you know what I mean. We have to break some eggs.
More to fight terrorism with the ridiculous hope to think that you can actually end it would be the dumbest thing we as Americans can do. Taking a multi-approach action to solving the fiscal crisis and ending the security crisis, which is always an illusion. There is an illusion of security, and spending more money and borrowing more money does not bring you the security that you think it does.
You know, you not only brought up a great point, you linked the two, and they are linked. You're right. We are so much in the hole financially that we can't prioritize our spending.
Do you think it would help if we just educated the world? Because most of these terrorist groups are Islamic fundamentalists, right? What if we just did dropped leaflets and educated the population of all these Muslim countries that the Prophet Muhammad was a pedophile? Do you think that might help?
Classes that talk about killing Americans and killing Jews and killing other religions. You know, you got to stop that culture. You gotta allow for Islam to exist, but not the extreme Islam. If if we take it should exist, it's not, we're going to have conflict and war. I don't know if we can do this, but we have to stop the extreme culture. How do you go into other countries and make it illegal to teach hate of other religions, women, or whatever? You can't.
Wait, hold on. No, but hold on. You got to slow it down. Like, before they write the textbooks of killing people, they bought into this idea that the perfect man was this guy that married a 6-year-old and fucked a 9-year-old. Like, I think what we have to do is we have to say, look, pedophilia bad, and ergo Prophet Muhammad bad, ergo Islam bad. Like, and again, no disrespect intended to any of the people that have been, subjected to this cult. I have a lot of empathy for you if you happen to be a cult member. We can deprogram you once we end Islam.
World demands terrorism. So when the demand is there, supply will be created. Doesn't matter how you behave. So the root problem is
This is called
how
Clubhouse.
the world demand.
This is how can we end terrorism?
That is a question.
Worship a prophet that fucks kids. Like, what if we just glassed the whole fucking thing? What if we just said, you know what? Fuck the norms. We're just going to pack up the bombers, move the subs, and just fucking nuke the shit out of the entire fucking region. I'm not saying I'm advocating for that. That sounds genocidal. I'm just throwing it out there as a thought experiment. That covers my ass from getting clipped. Go ahead. I'll take that.
Okay, but do you believe that a religion that tells you to go to a land because God promised you 2,000 years ago, it's like, like extremism, like Christian extremism, and like...
Hold on, guys. I gotta Phoenix.
Congressman Kitover, the 16th District of Illinois,
that are part of Islam. The Bible just you can make money off of it, but you're not really making it art.
Each house
What I'm meaning is
shall be the judge.
2,000 years ago. What about that?
Phoenix, you're bringing up a good point here because, look, who the fuck are we to argue with God? Like you said yourself, God promised it to a chosen group of people, and you know who that chosen group of people is not? These fucking phony-ass motherfuckers that came up with the name.
If that's the logic, then as an East African, because I'm Ethiopian, I would appreciate all you Arabs and Berbers to leave North Africa, because you weren't there either first. So leave Africa.
Dude, a woman just said, I know that the delicate sounds of a woman's voice is probably something that you're not used to hearing, but
That's a stereotype. Like,
I heard her say something brilliant. We call that in America a mic drop.
yeah, I was responding while you interrupted me. Like, kind of control yourself so I can respond for 2,000 years ago.
It doesn't matter the motivation. Why are you in North Africa? I need you to leave. I need all you Berbers on the scene.
I'm applying to like Native Americans.
We're not doing
I think it doesn't apply to anybody, Phoenix. It doesn't apply to religion. Doesn't teach that. The religion doesn't teach that. Okay,
So you go to a certain place and
Who's smoking hot?
Jerusalem to be some kind of holy city, but
She's
it's a
smoking
religious
hot.
thing, right?
or it's a cultural thing, but certainly the religion doesn't teach that they should obtain Israel by force or something like that.
Yeah, and Jason, you heathen.
So the criticism is that there is a certain religious stuff going on with Muslims not being able to like there is the bad intentions towards the others, right? And that I agree with you that you should not actually people should not mix politics with religion, right? But the thing is that there is a man that went into the Middle East. He's from Brooklyn, and he went there because a religious text told him that God promised him that.
So we could discuss whether this guy did or wrong by going there. I don't think he did. But it wouldn't change the fact that clear waves of immigration and France, for example, were quite successful. But we do see in various parts of the world some very countries too, Islamic people have a lot of trouble with extremism. The greatest victims of Islamic terror are Muslim people in Muslim countries. So I know that we can say all we want about this guy from Brooklyn, but it doesn't change the fact that there is legit criticism and a legitimate concern regarding Islam. We can also talk about this guy from Brooklyn, but one of these is not going to pay for or solve or cancel out the other.
I totally agree. To be honest, this is just a vague conversation and argument because they don't want a two-state solution. They want a one-state solution, so it doesn't even matter.
Just here for the comments. I don't know your number. Did you text me?
Can I real quick? I think terrorism as a whole is one of the worst things our nation has had to deal with in the last 40 years.
Is that Rich? Yeah, it's Rich.
I have to mention this too regarding of immigration.
You want
Immigration has been
the link
throughout
to the
world
clown house?
good
It's in the
for
muff.
the economy of the whole world.
Oh, it's good for Africa. So Africans have to share the land and deal with y'all, but no one else should.
Y'all done.
MG, we're all from Africa. My answer.
Oh, you want me to add you to the group chat?
Listen, that's not the point. The point is
70,000 years ago.
This ridiculous conversation. They want a one-state solution. That's the whole point. They want a one-state solution. They're not interested in having.
But some Muslims don't. Okay, I don't think that Saudi Arabia wants a caliphate.
They don't already have a caliphate?
A lot of these countries.
There was this struggle between communism and capitalism, which is that's why it's.
My bad, guys. I'm sorry. I don't do now. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, I feel like this is a good segue, Phoenix, because I don't want you to center yourself. But, Phoenix, in 3 sentences or less, tell us how you would end terrorism.
Good question, John.
So I think that the people are going to have well-being as a country. That's a good start.
Are you talking about America or it's also? Oh, they are. Okay. All right. Got me.
Yeah, I think socialism is really good. So.
Hold on. Let me clear my ears out. Did you say, I just want to make sure I wasn't in the Matrix, did you say that I think socialism is really good?
Yeah, I think socialism, equal rights for everyone.
For who? Good for who? The people that you've stolen from? Huh?
No, it's good for the world that all people have well-being, to be taking consideration of the well-being of everyone, not just to exploit others just for.
Wait, hold on. Let me explain. Shut your fucking mouth. Listen to me. I like what Friedrich Hayek says about socialists. If socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists. A little fucking weird thing where they're in a slow motion fucking punk rock pit. And I think what we should do is we should drop the mother of all bombs on Mecca. What do you guys say?
Oh, okay, that's what I call terrorism then.
Too soon?
Yeah, we don't even build a synagogue in Mecca.
Great point. And why?
You hate by speaking like that. I don't know why you're doing that. Every action has a reaction, but you're creating hate. I don't know why.
Well, why don't you think it's okay that Ben Gvir can't pray in Jerusalem wherever he wants? Why do Muslims in Jerusalem get special treatment? Why can't Jews pray where Muslims pray?
It's not a trick question. Somehow some people are getting it wrong, but how many zeros are in 37 trillion? Or let John Kitover talk to you about what the 37 trillion might represent.
Listen, the IRS that Jules and I used to work for brings in $5 trillion a year. We spend $7 trillion. In 2050, if you ask Grok, at $50 trillion in debt at 2050, we will be immigrants pouring in through the gaps. Your children's future has been mortgaged. We have the biggest mortgage on the big 1,000. They can't even do that simple mathematical equation. Even though.
Hold on, let's put this to the test. Phoenix, what's 100 times 1,000?
Roundhouse is actually an ESL training app, and you're all just wasting your time centering Phoenix.
And Phoenix wants to divvy up the money when he can't
I
count
love
to begin with.
Congressman. I think he's a decent person.
Hey, Phoenix, I got a question for you. How many zeros are in 37 trillion?
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's in the top.
No, Mojo, he just likes being social. That's what he thinks social is.
The interest on that, the interest on the 37 trillion is about a trillion a year. So in over 2 years, if you wanted to pay it down, you would be closer to 4.5 trillion per year in order to pay it down 7 trillion. Thank you.
So let me ask one more question for anybody in the room. If we were to double the tax rate in America and take us from an average of, say, 40% to 80%, how much would we collect? 5 trillion, and we double the tax rate collection to twofold. That would be how much? 10 trillion a year.
Are you saying that's going to come
The
to
operating cost, and then you're going to have the expectation that the top 5% are willing to take that and not park their money overseas or leave the U.S. or hold.
reason that exists.
I'm just saying, if we were to raise the tax rate to 10 trillion, but yet we still, what I'm trying to point out is that short-term, long-term, we're already at a critical level of debt. And if we can't cut Medicare, Medicaid, so
right.
Broco?
Tax increases in tax is not going to cut the debt. Every one of us in this room right now is killing us, and Trump is right. And I hope Trump fights
Somewhere else. But until that demand is there, somewhere else. But until that demand is there, there's the reason the interest rate will stay high, because people get interested to purchase those bonds.
Well, another question to axe would be. Why did the U.S. pay for gain-of-function research in a lab?
He wasn't prosecuted yet.
I got a film coming out.
He wasn't prosecuted yet.
I got a film coming out.
Prosecuted yet.
I got a film coming out October 19th. It's called October 19th. It's called Last Dragon. And if you answer the $1 trillion question, Mojo will have you come to wherever he's at and party at the theater.
It'll be the big AMC in downtown Seattle. But we're on the premiere date, I will make sure that we to come and sign autographs.
Mojo, you don't need to sell anything. It just need to sell anything. It just party and have a good time. And the huge band, musicians playing the globe, at the globe. Musicians playing the globe, at the globe. And I thought of having 50 show-nuffs show up in the marching, and when they do it again, What do you think of that?
I love that. By the way, that's a great idea. I want to see that video, because there is a junior high school that typically wins the top band throughout the state. That's not too far from where I live, and I can go and talk to the music teacher there.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. You'll see. Yeah. YouTube. If you put the Last Dragon Glow, you'll see. Yeah. YouTube. If you put the Last Dragon Glow marching band. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you.
It's exactly 12.
There you go.
Anybody here not seen The Last Dragon? Anybody? Is any Luddites here that just didn't see this? By the way, Timok, I was looking at film,
And it was diverse, but they weren't promoting across the country. So it went to number 2 in the country and dropped out. Anyway,
well, I would highly encourage people, even without the promotion. comparison to some of the movies that you've grown up on for the year? I mean, there's a lot of films that you did more money.
32 or 33 million at that time, and it was a $10 million or $12 million budget at that time, and they skipped some money. The producers stole some money.
And you have to imagine that when it got to Are you suggesting, John, that the cure was worse than the disease?
Yes, we pumped in hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars in funding. Were we our own worst enemy in this particular situation? Anyone?
Yes, we were. We didn't follow the science. We panicked. I remember standing 4 feet in back of somebody in a store, and I got yelled at. In back of somebody in a store, and I got yelled at for not standing 5 feet with my mask on like an idiot.
I'm sorry, what was your question, Ann?
Why do you think they did this?
Well, I saw a document from the Bush administration that this plandemic, scamdemic, and the media orchestrating one giant group think of stupidity. And then people went to their local fire department community center and got vaccinated. Decided to go get this free shot. I'm like, how stupid could you be that you're going to get a government administered shot? None of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the Federal Reserve and our ability to borrow. The first act is called the HEROES Act in March of 2020. Go look at the congressional record and look how the spending's associated with ramping up production, creating a $100 billion corporation out of thin air to make this vaccine. Do you know how many Indian manufacturers came out of the woodworks and manufactured this patented vaccine? This is a multi-year project. There's a lot of information in this, but this vaccine has caused turbo cancers and myocarditis. Doctors are speaking out. It's all on X, but you'll never hear it actually put into the spoken word on X, conveniently under the rug. There will be no repercussions. Pfizer's been given immunity, and Senator Kennedy recently pulled funding for mRNA. So a loan to purchase unless your federal government decided on your behalf to give your future to a big pharma corporation for your health.
Paying for them to kill us. That's how bad it is. You are right.
Do you think that we'll ever be able to seek justice? Or like any of our family members that have
No, I have friends who really never seek justice. No. How we can seek justice?
You can get justice in the social media court of justice. That's about it, and unfortunately, you can't hire a lawyer and get any compensation.
Right, there's no compensation. I have friends who had so many things happen, but can't touch. You sure she doesn't have AIDS? I think she's got shots. I didn't know she got. All the doctors say it's shots.
It absolutely amazes me that some people don't believe in the simple concept of cause and effect. So autism rates are through the roof.
He disagrees with cause and effect. He disagrees with cause and effect.
Well, it's like, I believe that the vaccine can be harmful. I believe that it can cause many of the things we're talking about. But I also think that it probably saved lives. I got really bad cases, but it attenuated the pathogen to a degree that I was able to survive it. So in some cases, it saved lives.
Okay, but the amount of people that lives were saved versus the adverse reaction. I mean, I know you're not Grok, Dr. Jordan, but, let's call a spade a spade. This isn't a vitamin booster to, help you. You're infecting people with spike proteins and causing genetic disorders in human bodies. Next thing you know, Zuckerberg and his wife open an anti-inflammation, $100 billion nonprofit. They're connected, Dr. Jordan. We're poisoning ourselves. We're not protecting ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves.
Let me ask a question. Can everyone see the poll above? Because I only have 6 people that have responded to it. So if you guys need to refresh your the poll feature, you guys might need to refresh your app if you can't see it. But if you see it, go go ahead and respond to one of those things, because we'd like to get some votes in here to figure out what you guys think. Was the vaccine worse? Was the disease worse? Or are you unsure?
Mojo, you got these beautiful women here on stage. You gotta get some help to promote this right here.
Listen, don't get modded. Maybe I don't think you're pretty.
I don't want to bust your horns, Roger, but what do you mean worse? Cost-wise, health-wise, future-wise, you know. I know.
How many characters you want me to write? Which was worse? Net. The vaccine or the disease?
Okay, you got me. I'm voting.
You mean you were holding those in votes? I'll keep this room going all week. I'll keep it going all week. Fuck it.
You said 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Yeah.
Bro, you two lost just 985 more votes.
Question for people here. John, do you want to ask him the basic qualifying question?
Yes, what is 500 times 1,000?
Oh,
You may be smarter than a fifth grader.
Mojo, could we vote twice like in real elections?
Only if you're dead.
It could be that that was it.
Well, but in my own we always use a model, prevent, control, eradicate, right? And then we use a medical model, which is based on vaccinology. So we don't know that, like, if you don't vaccinate a population and you allow a pathogen to mutate, we could all be dead. So yes, there are negatives. There are certainly negatives, but I'm not so sure that we didn't end up saving saving all of civilization, because that's a little dramatic. But the point is that that is a little dramatic, considering the fact that I had COVID, and when I had COVID, I got some cold chills. I've had common colds that impacted me worse. Certainly bronchitis is worse. The flu knocks me out. I'm not saying that people might not have been impacted in a more severe way than I was, but I have to tell you, I think it was oversold. When I got it, I was freaking the fuck out.
I'll respond when I'm
Added A.G. Huff. Many of you know him from this app, and Augustus, because he was a whistleblower who clearly shows COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective, reducing severe illness. 33% VE against ED visits in 2025. Turbo cancer is a myth. Claims stem from misinformation, anecdotal reports, and observational data like a Japanese study showing 2022 mortality rises, but it doesn't prove causation. Factors like pandemic delays and screening explain increases. No rigorous evidence links vaccines to cancer in any way whatsoever. Then, PhD Dr. Andrew Huff wrote, "Grok, that is false. Have you understand 2020 from a database error? Official DoD corrections confirm no vaccine-related increase. Rates remain stable or decline. Claims of dramatic rises are based on uncorrected, flawed data." Andrew Huff wrote back, "Awesome question. For the record, I am in your camp, it seems, on this issue." So, to me, you can just go off of this artificial data. It's like Chicago, the mayor releasing the crime statistics, or the FBI and the MSNBC releasing crime statistics.
I have a question for the group. I just heard not too long ago the term long COVID. Anybody hear of it? Is it true, or anybody know anything about it? Long COVID.
Yeah, it's true.
T-Mac?
You're not fire, it's not, you're not firing, your body's not being fired, minerals, these kind of things. How are you guys?
So let me ask a follow-up question to this very dramatic vaccine conversation. Who here would go to Walmart?
I would not. When I was working on film sets, the thing was, they said we had to have the shots. You know what I did?
You may have committed a felony, young man. You should be careful. The CDC police are going to send a secret squad to your house and have you arrested and vaccinated.
girl talking and she said, "Don't do it, check your inbox." I was like, oh shit, I can go to work now.
Getting an annual flu shot is also a great idea.
I do eat a lot of fruit and water and no pork. I try to eat healthy a lot of times.
I've never had a flu shot.
Are you eating organic? Are you eating fruit labeled organic, or what are you eating? Yeah, but you don't know if you don't know how much in terms of glyphosate that you're consuming. So I'm just making.
No, I know.
Most of us
Good questions. These are good questions, guys.
Measles resurfaced in America. I had measles when I was young, so I'm not going to get a shot.
I only got one shot that I was in control of. I mean, that was not in control of. That was the one with the chicken pox growing up.
You don't get measles boosters throughout life, so you're
Right.
Okay, I got another follow-up question on another exciting vaccine option for.
I'm not hep to it.
Yeah, but John, the issue is, you're bringing up all these things, and which are valid. You have to give them an option.
Dr. Jordan's belches there might be indicative that I'm wondering here if anybody is interested in getting the government to pay for your Ozempic injections this year.
Well, here's the interesting thing, though, right? Like, excuse me for the belching.
It's
The
a belching vaccination, by the way.
I mean, when we talk about these pathogens, I mean, people sound like, parasites, bacteria, viruses are all like these closely related things. The diversity among the pathogens are far greater than vertebrate species, right? So, like, the notion of the notion of immunizing people against these pathogens depends on the platform, the type of pathogen. It's so complicated. It's like comparing. It's the difference between comparing like cars and boats to a port. Roger knows that.
No, it's a that's a really good point. But I'll just say this: I took the shingles shot. If anybody ever seen anybody with shingles, you're gonna take this fucking shot. Let me tell you, that is wicked.
These shots, I turned to one of you guys drinking fresh juice and acai bowls and
ways to heal themselves, but it's just interesting the power that a doctor has.
Oh, psychology. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah, and it's not just belief. This is the facts. The power that people, immune system. So there's that.
But each immune system is within its limit.
I know some scientists that would be able to answer that fully. I'd highly recommend some of you guys that are interested in health this way to read Dr. Joe Dispenza's book. Read Dr. Joe Dispenza's book called "You Are the Placebo."
I'm almost going backwards. Let me go back forward. Almost going backwards. Let me go back forward.
Chicken wings in a strip club. That sounds like a good time. If I may, I'd like Mojo looks like he eats chicken with that outfit he's wearing. He'd need a lot of napkins, chicken wings in a strip club.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Nas.
I have some dead friends that disagree with you. I got to speak for them.
Well,
Nas, maybe.
The water you drink. The water you drink can kill you. The water you drink can kill you.
Well, let me ask you a question. A quick question.
Go ahead.
If I took one shot, and I got COVID soon afterwards. A few weeks afterwards.
That's normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have to understand the purpose of the vaccine. The purpose of the vaccine is not to prevent people to make you.
Which it did do, which is no proof it did. Which it did do, which is no proof it did reduce the rate of infection.
Yes, it did.
No proof reduce the rate of infection.
Yes, it did.
No proof.
You don't have the whole data. Look at the entire data. I'm a scientist by training, and that is an area of specialty. So, yes, it did.
This is your area of specialty? Okay, let me ask.
And AstraZeneca produced the largest vaccines for COVID. Messenger RNA is used for so many different things, and long before vaccinate less than 5% of the US population. Messenger RNA technology is beyond belief. It's far advanced and far more efficient. Is it perfect? No, there is no such thing as perfect medicine. There is nothing perfect in life. Never got it.
And you're never, are you at the healthiest point of your life? Like, how healthy do you feel from taking over that?
Healthy.
Wow, that's amazing news.
You said the shot.
I did not say such a thing. When I am trying to
Timac or my crazy Timac.
it reduced the rate of infection, and it helped you to resist more. It's not.
I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what I asked Brock. It says, based on 2024 data from company reports and the World Health Organization, number one, 0.4 billion a year for PCV. Comirnaty, which is by Pfizer, treats COVID, which does 5.4 billion a year. Next, we have at number 4, 3 billion a year. Number 6, DTaP combos, Sanofi, 3 billion a year. Number 7, influenza vaccines by Sanofi generates 2.8 billion a year. Number 8, ProQuad, MMR Veravax by Merck, 2.5 billion. Number Merck, 2.5 billion. Number 9.
Hold on 1 second. I think they're looking at surgeries, spinal surgeries especially, and most surgeons will not have
Statements like the COVID-19 vaccine is 100% safe and effective. Never trust anybody who makes all or nothing statements. That's what a Sith.
Did you get COVID? Moose?
I did. Your dance technique involves a lot of hopping. It's perfect.
And don't forget, if you don't get vaxxed this coming Thanksgiving, you could kill your grandparents if you don't get vaxxed. So be sure everybody gets vaxxed again.
And the turkey, too.
You know, my favorite part about the vaccine was when we went to restaurants where we had to put the mask on, but then we sat down and we could take the mask off, and then when you leave, you have to put the mask back on. It was the most intelligent virus I've ever seen. It's just amazing how it knows if you're walking in or out of the restaurant or if you're sitting down. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, it's a virus with a brain. You're right. I wish that scientists would come back. I wanted to ask them about masks, how effective the masks were. If he still thinks they are effective or were effective. I mean, we were duped. Everybody knows we were duped. Like I said to Congressman before, these pharmaceutical companies got away with murder. They created their tax laws for them. They were paying like next to nothing, and it still wasn't good enough. They wanted to pay nothing. It was ridiculous. And for Fauci to be the highest paid government employer in the country, what can I say? Get his ass for perjury.
just follow the money.
Yeah, well, that was my job. That was my job. You're right. Follow the money.
What I missed the 6 feet apart. They're actually genuine.
Understand is if this was a conspiracy of some sort, why didn't they do an actual back-end tracking, or did they? Because passing out a 3x5.
Congressman, you can agree with this. Government sometimes feels like they have to do something. It might be wrong. It might be not do something. It might be wrong. It might be not scientifically based. I wrote a funny bit. I think it was funny on Facebook. Dating for COVID patients. I got a good reviews on that. You know, one person had it, one person didn't have it. They both tested negative. You know, it was just a whole combination of things. Dating on via the computer first. It was ridiculous, as was the disease. Nobody knew anything. That's what I think. I don't think it was a conspiracy. I think nobody knew anything.
Well, what about the mass communication effort on behalf of mainstream media, who are all sponsored by Pfizer, that encouraged that earlier from A.G. Huff on what he was replying to with people with people's comments? I just think, follow the money and if the victim. So there was just a lot of fraud going on. And every time the government prints up trillions of dollars through omnibus bills, it creates a
COVID, had a heart attack, so of course it was COVID. Hey Marshall, how you doing, Marshall?
Hey, you know what you said about the whole
No, he's not thinking of immunity. He's not taking statute of limitations. Yeah, they removed that for the PvP. And yeah, so where we're at, the PvP fraud and stuff like that, more likely you are going to get in trouble for it.
Marshall, you came in the room. How many COVID shots did you take, and how many times did you get COVID?
I was told by my doctor to take twice, and then the third one he did not take, and I've had COVID one time.
Simple question, like whether or not you feel that it protected you.
It has to do with that. I don't substitute my own view of what it is for medical.
So you give Pfizer immunity to protect and give them vaccine.
I have the right to either listen to my doctor or not listen to my doctor. And guess what I chose? Listen to my fucking doctor, because I've had it on. That is stupid. It would be like you getting told you had stage 4 cancer and laughing at the doctor because you thought they made money off of it. Fucking diagnosis and a cure. Right? Like, it's not like you have a right to do things your way, I have a right to do things my way, and that's the way I did them.
I agree. I'm just asking some sensitive questions. I know they're sensitive questions, but we have to ask the hard questions.
Yeah, Marshall,
questions, and you want me to substitute what I think about a medical procedure for somebody who fucking went to medical school and has been my doctor for a decade? I'm obviously not going to choose myself because I don't have that kind of medical expertise. It's not that fucking hard.
Marshall, I agree with what you said. The only thing is, and I take your point of view, I didn't think the medical field knew enough about it.
Not to be sneered at.
No. I was just and even when he told you what to do, it was still your decision, right?
Yep. So you know what?
How's your doctor felt for you? Your health sucks.
No, he is very healthy.
Is it because, a doctor with poor health? I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying a lot of doctors have poor health, but they give recommendations. And a lot of doctors really suck to begin with.
They make $40 billion around the country, $40 billion, and as far as spinal surgery, $40 billion in the
and they think, I know doctors, a lot of them think they're holy and shit. Well, the tax return for you.
No, it's not a good analogy at all. That's something.
It's really not a good analogy.
You can tell with your own body if you're not well, if you pay attention. Tax is a whole different thing.
Well, there's certain things, I'm not a doctor. I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is right. You know what you're saying? And you're right. You have to understand your body to give that saying. You have to understand your body as much as you could because it's your body, and give that knowledge to the doctor who has medical knowledge to be able to carry the ball.
That doctor, if you trust that doctor, right?
Yes.
I think you should.
In a hospice, does that make sense for a doctor to ask you if you need a vaccine while you're dying in hospice? Because that's what they do. You've never had enough.
I think we got the message out.
Yeah. I think you're pretty pissed off with the. We're all pissed off with segments of society. You're right. The budget. The budget's the budget.
I think the Astros would be doing it, but hey.
Well, I'm trying to get justice for people like Ann.
I get John to break, because he's trying to give information.
I'm just really trying to get Ann a little social audio equity justice.
That's the only kind of justice she's going to get, unfortunately.
See, instead of being shouted down, I should be applauded for asking the difficult questions that guys like
you, I'm on your side in a lot of cases, a lot of things we spoke. But, when you personalize it, people get pissed off.
He says he has an autoimmune deficiency system, as William Wallace in the chat pointed out. If you have an autoimmune deficiency system, you are one of the groups of people who should not have gotten the vaccine. So I don't understand where he comes from on anything.
Well, his doctor told him because
everybody loves to say he's the greatest, but I think he's a schmuck.
I disagree with Marsh on a lot of issues. I'm not going to call him an incapoof. I'm not going to call him a schmuck unless he was on stage here. No. But, he has his own viewpoint. Hey, look, this was a time of unknown when COVID hit. I'll give you an example of my situation. You'll tell me I'm crazy. I don't believe in the vaccination, okay? Right from the beginning, I was skeptical. I would say maybe the last plane back from Tel Aviv where there was no COVID. I landed, and my son and his family were coming back from LA the next day. My son got sick on the plane. Everybody was getting sick, and within 2 days, COVID broke out. Now, I got a number of grandchildren that I want to see. And I didn't want to take the vaccination. I held off. I didn't have COVID. I held really, really bad. There's going to be questions about it. Look up this, look up that. So nobody knew what the hell was going on. When it came time, several months later, I wanted to see my grandkids. And he was afraid. He didn't know. He's the scientific guy. I have to see our grandchildren. What's wrong with that? And this is the beginning stages. Nobody knew anything. He didn't go to. I took it. I took one of the shots, the vaccine shots. I wanted to see my grandchildren. Now, that's right.
But it had no positive health outcomes. It doesn't stop infection. It doesn't stop transmission. It only makes you sick.
I wanted to see my grandchildren. Who I'm living for. No other reason I'm living for.
I'm not trying.
I was two. I didn't find out later that it altered your DNA. Me too. Yeah. To be, now, the rest of our lives, everybody's gone from our lives. We're not going to trust the government on any health issues in the future. And there's a lot of health issues that can pop up. I was going to festivals in San Francisco and New York, Chinatown festivals, showing that there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and Trump was labeled a racist for preventing the Chinese from coming in. It was the first accusation. He's a racist.
And the opposite is what they think. If Trump said there's no God, they would be demanding everybody want money. That's not on Facebook, which I get 100 of those a day.
A scam, then you should take everything, with a grain of salt. And let's go back to the poll. 48% out of 25 votes still unsure what was worse, getting the vaccine or getting the disease.
Give me those numbers again, because I didn't look at
28% believe that getting the COVID-19 virus was worse than getting the vaccine. And 25% are still unsure of whether or not it was worse to get the vaccine or the disease.
Wow, that says a lot right there. It's just so stupid. And I wonder what the question would have been. If the question would have been for children, that's what bothered me too. They knew that children had very little risk of having any damage, whether if they got COVID, little cold, whatever, and they still demanded children get the vaccine. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to understand.
Dude, actually, it's just, it's fucking, it's a scam. Like, it's all a scam, I don't believe in, you can either change your life now or, stick in that path, but, I don't know.
Right. We were jabbed as soon as we were born. But I think, I don't know, I think the jabs then were more, how can I say, more viable, or, now the trust of getting jabbed now is so much, is such a problem. Maybe you're right. Maybe they were just experimenting with us back then. Who knows? You're a good boy. You're in a tough. You work in the healthcare business. It is very.
There's a sales part of healthcare, which is so weird. Like literally go on a market, and it's just, I just feel like insurance agents, right? So they were paying agents to, so that's, and there were doctors that were illegally, docking people.
Necro, just a second, Necro. I mean, I broke my car in today. It's if you pay cash, it's this. If you don't remember Crazy Eddie, his brother who owned the store. I don't know if you remember Crazy Eddie. They had the biggest record store on Park Road. You know why they were so low? I just found out he did time because they didn't pay their taxes. They were able to undercut, other businesses. So that's like our national pastime is don't pay your taxes. So when people talk about not having the IRS, I think the IRS serves a purpose. At least makes you pay some of your taxes, or we catch some of that.
No problem. We've created a taxation system that only funds 5 out of 7 trillion a year in spending. We are taxing ourselves too much already as is, and we are spending way more than we can sustain.
Hold on. I need to mod somebody, so I want to do this, but I want to get it. So, it's not mod that will distribute it.
Mod's fraud. They've only recouped about $3 billion.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So $60 billion got skimmed by the government because they decided to create a new loan package. $60 billion. Boop, bye.
Yeah, well, I told you I was an international examiner in financial service. I caught huge sums of money in the biggest financial service area, and it was not illegal. They were just arming with the code.
Disciplining.
John, so you're running as a candidate for Congress. I think it's interesting though. One of the things that to me is the thing I never understand about MAGA. I'm not talking. It's not
Kind of all or nothing position statement. I wear this red hat mostly because I want people to get upset just by me wearing it. I'm not some MAGite. I'm a Republican American who believes in fiscal prudence and not borrowing and spending. That doesn't make me MAGA. Finish your question.
Yeah, so my question is donors were people like Elon Musk who has more wealth than, maybe, definitely well beyond 1 billion lifetimes. But, that's really the thing about MAGA to me. It's
Down to Uganda, on here for Uganda, have billions and billions of dollars. That you won't object to, right? That's okay.
What's the solution to lowering the debt? So I don't think this is an issue that is, hey, you can frame this one side. One side is guilty of all of them. In fact, the Democrats.
Tell me what Biden's solution was.
The Democrats at least don't lie about the fact that they
don't lie.
They don't lie. They don't
About lowering the debt, yes. They
don't talk about lowering the debt, Necro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the Republicans.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They talk about raising the debt. You know, by the way, I think it's a bipartisan. Well, I think it's a bipartisan. Well, I think it's a bipartisan. I think it's a bipartisan fucking. Okay, I agree with. But Congressman, I agree with you. It's taxes won't do anything. I believe in lowering the taxes, lowering the debt, and you know, you're right.
I believe in lowering income taxes for everybody making less than $1 million. I think that those people deserve a break. I think that, you know, I'm not in favor, in general, I'm not, you know, I mean, the richest people in the country, meanwhile, most of their taxes are done from stock, which tend to be much lower.
Necro.
The rich pay most of the taxes. Rich pay almost all the taxes in this country.
Necro, let me ask you a question.
And they still
Necro, let me ask you a question. If
Hey, Necro, you know the poor pay no taxes. Almost half the households in this country pay no taxes, income taxes. You know that.
Well, then, you know what we should do is get rid of the burdensome compliance for the bottom 50% who don't pay anything anyways, but yet they still got to pay $150 to file annually, even though they get a, guess what happens though, Jules? They get a tax rebate. Is actually just an annual stimulus check. Actually, just an annual stimulus check.
That's right, exactly. Necro, do you believe in capitalism?
You hate having a system of wealth, essentially. I mean, because believe it or not, which is essentially what I am, basically, is that.
What would Thomas Jefferson say then today, right now, if he witnessed what was happening with the two?
You know, the reason why we invaded Iraq, that was all about, oil, was why we invaded Iraq. You can't really blame socialism for that.
I blame socialism for being a sucky economic society. I'm a capitalist.
Okay.
I think this country, they have no freedom. They have, you can go to medical school. Where are you going to go? To medical school in Israel, American.
Okay, that's fair. Absolutely.
Okay.
Which person from another country would be quoting Thomas Jefferson to you?
No, you sound like an American. So you tell me what country, what form of government do you think is more fair to more people? You like socialism, yet you're in the United States. What socialist country provides more and better country?
Yeah, so for example, Norway. Norway, they have a system in which, even prisoners, convicted murderers, have a better shot at life when they get out of prison.
I asked you to pick a country in the world, and the first country, the only country, was a country that gives its prisoners certain rights.
Yeah, you have people who are the lowest in society, they get better opportunity when they leave prison.
Oh my God, that's the best you could do.
Wait, Jules, before you go any further, I want to alert you to the fact that Necro is a racist and he believes that Israel is an apartheid genocidal country.
Oh, it's his belief.
That one's for you, Rich.
I'm against that, of course.
They very likely think that, Netanyahu's base, they probably think that, settlements rock.
You don't think settlement developments are a positive thing for people? I mean, living in modern day housing with security, that doesn't sound like a good thing to you.
Not Jews, though, no. And all the Arab countries.
I like Jews, essentially.
Exactly
Storing
what to
weapons
ask.
under a hospital, a war crime? Is storing weapons under a mosque a war crime? Is using human kids as shields a war crime?
Yeah,
I have a question. Can we get back to the interrogation of what country would be best? Well, which country did you say you would prefer, Ekram?
He said Norway.
yeah. Which one is
I gotta take a photo of Mocha's
Norway?
PTR. It's so
So,
ridiculous.
I have a question for you. What do you think the average income is in Norway in comparison to the United States?
I don't know.
Average income. It's the average income is $60,300 in